Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Arista Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight, we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Ulysses Carter. A little bit about him. This New York-born and raised native is taking full advantage of his 30-plus years as an entertainment industry professional with a wide-reaching network of contacts through the media with the writers, editors, producers, talent bookers, broadcast personalities, and senior management executives. Ulysses Carter encompasses stints as Vice President of Publicity and Promotions at the late Whitney Houston Management Company, Whitney Houston Enterprise, Nippy Inc. Prior to that, he was Director of Publicity at the iconic record label Arista Records during legendary executive Clive Davis' tenure. His work there had paired him with some of the industry's heavyweights and brightest stars, including Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Prince, Usher, TLC, Q-Tip, Run DMC, Next, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Monica, Deborah Cox, Faith Evans, 112, and Carl Thomas. Ulysses has also been an independent consultant to clients in the performing arts, theater, sports, corporate, not-for-profit, and a personal client roster, which included actors such as Michael K. Williams and Lance Reddick of the famed HBO series The Wire, R&B singers Monica, Shanice Wilson, Freddie Jackson, and Melis Morgan, and various other projects with award shows such as Grammys, NAACP Image Awards, Soul Train Music Awards, to name a few. Carter is a member of the Public Relations Society of America, the National Black Public Relations Society, the Greater New York Black Public Relations Society, the Museum of Television and Radio, the Museum of Moving Image, the National Association of Black Journalists, and he's also an active voting member of NARAS, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, and the NAACP Image Awards. Ulysses is a past recipient of the National Black Public Relations Society Network Award 2004. Some of his philanthropy works include his work with young people with Teen Summit in conjunction with the Marion P. Foundation for the North Carolina and Atlanta, Georgia chapters. Also, his volunteer work with the NYC Bowery Mission and the Cathedral Street John the Divine Soup Kitchen. Currently, he is one of the in-house consultants to the estate of Whitney Houston. Ulysses Carter has forged his own path and is a recognized leader in the public relations and entertainment industry. Welcome to the table, the amazing, legendary Ulysses Carter.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate it. After you read all that, it sounds like I've been busy a little bit, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, I am humbled, Ulysses, to have you at the table tonight. I know my listeners are going to gain some amazing wisdom and knowledge from you. So would you please tell us more about your amazing entrepreneurial journey?
Well, just a little background. I've been an industry baby since birth, I guess, because a lot of people don't know that my uncle was the famed comedian actor Flip Wilson. So all I knew in this business was the industry.
Yeah.
So he taught me humility. He taught me. My mother would send me out there to him, and I would just learn the business and stuff like that. And he always told me to take control of what you wanted and never just put your eggs in one basket. Always, make yourself available for different situations to get involved to, because you never know where it may take you.
Yes, amazing. And you've had 30-plus years of experience as an entertainment industry professional. So you tell us more about your passion, because, with all that experience, I know it had to be a passion.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. It had to be what?
I said, would you tell us more about your 30-plus years as an entertainment industry professional? I said with all of that experience, it had to be a natural passion.
Yeah. It's fun in a way. I look at my life where it's fun, but it's still busy, and it's a learning process with anything, especially during marketing and publicity and working with all these entertainment entities and stuff like that. But they're just regular individuals like you and I. Mm-hmm. But you're controlling the narrative of their life and getting them out there, for people to enjoy their music and their projects and stuff like that. So I always seem to have fun with it. I never try to go into the work as like, oh, woe is me. Some people get up every morning and go like, oh, I can't stand going to work. I love going to work because every day is a different experience, working with a different artist and dealing with different things and traveling around the world and So I can basically write a book right now, but I don't have time because I'm too busy. So
Yes. I love it. And, we have some listeners that are listening that are aspiring to be in the media industry. So what is some advice you would give to listeners who are looking to grow in the media industry?
Well, I would tell, especially college is important, or even starting from high school, because originally when I was in high school and college, I originally wanted to be a disc jockey, but not, playing music, but just a disc jockey on the radio, because I was really good. I did radio in high school and college, and I wanted to do that in voiceovers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And what led me into the PR thing was it was a conversation at dinner when I was in college of doing an internship. And I always still tell the old school way of young people or the listeners, you really have to pay your dues and put in the work. I don't care what is said that you can get it quick, fast, and easy. You have to put in the work to show what you want and to get further in life. I did the work. I did an internship with a PR firm. And from there, I worked there for about a year and a half. And in between learning the business, from some PR greats, it was Priscilla Chavin and Tony Green that I worked with a company called Pretty Special. And at that time, networking with different people, I wound up meeting the senior VP of Human Resources at Arista Records at the time. And I was able to have a conversation with this person because of just being nice and being humble. I got a job at Arista Records. Again, you just never know who you're going to bump into in different situations. It could be in a restaurant or whatever, but you always need to be nice and just watch what you do, and people are watching what you do and watching what you're saying. And I had a meeting with her, and I'm in her office literally actually for 2 hours, and we're just talking about movies and music and different things. She told me to go upstairs and go meet my new boss.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. And I think the other part is, which helped me, which wasn't a crutch, is because, like I said, my uncle was in the business, so I had already knew people, but it wasn't a form of nepotism or anything. It was, again, the hard work that my uncle taught me to do. He said, you can't go on your laurels because I'm your uncle. You still have to, again, like I said, put in the work. You have to do the research and put in the work. There's no shortcuts to success or to building who you are or your brand, shall we say, of what you want to do in this business. Because even at my age, I'm 51 years old now, even at this age, I am still asking questions. Because I still need to know, because I still like the old school method of doing marketing and publicity, but of course, I have young interns and assistants working with me that I'm also learning from them too. So I put different spins on it, but we just take it and combine it all together because it's a learning curve across the board for everyone. But again, my main thing is to tell people to put in the work and work hard for it. And have a vision board. Put it up there that you want to do this and work hard, because there's going to be some no's, but for every 5 to 6 no's, there's probably going to be 1 or 2 yeses, and you have to jump on that and just, again, do the work.
I love that. Put in the work, do the work, and what you said, being humble and being nice. And I think a lot of people got to remember that, because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're talking to. So it's so important for our listeners that you're being nice and you're being humble and you do the work and put in the work. So thank you for shining light on that, because that's so important.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, my uncle taught me that, because a lot of people didn't know my uncle had owned. He was into the franchise of the Benihana franchise. And actually, every Friday when I was with him, we would go to Benihana's, the restaurant. And when we walked in that restaurant, he knew everyone from the busboys to the cooks and everyone. He was asking, how's your family? You know, did your wife have the baby? He was vested into everyone's relationship. He always told me that no one is above you. It's just a title that these people have. And he says, remember, he said, one day you could be in a ditch and people are going to make a decision whether they're going to stick their hand down and help pull you up, or they're going to take your foot. They're going to take their foot and just throw dust on you and leave you in that ditch. So just remember, you know, just be very careful.
Yes.
And I've always kept that. I've always kept that in my back of my head. That memory, like it's that old saying: you never know who you're gonna see on your way up, and also you know who you're gonna see coming down. You know, when you're knocked down a couple of times. Yeah.
Powerful, powerful. And you have been in the media, you know, for a long time, as we know. But could you share with our listeners how the media has changed since you started in the industry?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because, you know, now we have social media, of course. But at the time, in the beginning, when I was in it, we built relationships with people where there were emails and personal phone calls and meetings. Like, we went to lunch with people and we met face to face, where you built that relationship and that rapport with that individual for a trust factor. Now we're in an age where, you know, we can send an email, we can just do social media posts and stuff like that, because we don't want that one-on-one contact anymore. We've lost that. Watching all those changes, even through just with marketing, again, it's like a microwavable thing. We want it fast, quick, and easy. Again, not putting in all the work. Again, just getting it out there, grabbing the attention of the person, and that's it. Again, you have to build campaigns and look at the markets of who you're trying to cater to, and realize, what you have to do to get their attention. And sometimes, I remember old school stuff, actually, with the grassroots, where we were outside, where we'd be handing out flyers to people, talking to people, you know, even if it was like handing out samples of food or whatever, just getting people to pay attention and just getting their attention now. Again, it's about me throwing something on that. I could throw something on social media and get all these likes and stuff like that, because, again, if you look around, people's heads are normally down in their phone now. They're not even looking up anymore, paying attention, you know. So, you know, unless I have an ad where I'm really putting myself on fire, people will really record that before they even pay attention to the message of what I'm doing. So it's crazy.
And I'm glad that you talked about that bitter relationship, because that's so important for our listeners that are listening. Can you share more about that, Ulysses, how bitter relationship is worth more than money?
Oh, yeah, because, again, building the relationships with individuals, that's what you mean?
Yes, building that relationship currency.
Yeah. I always thought that everything is not about money all the time. It's basically about setting a goal, making things happen, and having an everlasting impact on something. Because money comes and goes. Because there's been times, actually, where people are like, oh, well, I'll pay you extra money to do this, Ulysses, and stuff like that. And I go, no, put my name in credits that I was a part of a project, because when I'm gone, my legacy is still left, because when you're reading something, it's like, wow, Ulysses Carter was a part of that. And that's cemented in. You know, because if you pay me cash value, that comes and goes.
Yes.
But, of course, again, building that relationship, talking to people, getting to know that individual. And I think that's what helped me with the artists that I work with. I got to know the person. know the ins and outs of what they like and what they don't like, and understanding the personalities of people and not making assumptions.
Powerful, not making assumptions, getting to know people, building those relationships, which leads me into talking more about how your career encompasses stunts such as Vice President of Publicity and Promotions at the late Whitney Houston Management Company, Whitney Houston Enterprises, Nippy Inc. So please tell us more about how you accomplished that amazing accomplishment, because that's powerful to work with Whitney Houston, one of the legends of the industry.
Yeah, well, that story was, when it led from, doing the thing at Pretty Special, the gig at Pretty Special, then getting the job at Arista Records. So at the time of working at Arista Records, we all had to work a Whitney Houston project or an Aretha Franklin project or whatever the biggest artist was. But, of course, Whitney Houston was the house of Arista. She was the queen bee there. So, so when it was basically all hands on deck, Ashley, when we had to work her projects. And at that time, her mother was also friends, again, the relationships, again, it goes back to this. Her mother, Miss Sissy Houston, had knew my uncle. And she knew me as a little boy. And when she seen that I was working at the label, she was like, I know this young man. I know who his uncle is. She said, oh, you're in good hands. He's on this project with us. And at that point, Whitney had decided, and all she had found out her and I shared the same birthday, August 9th. We were both Leo the same day. So, of course, we had got a good rapport. And then at one point, she had a meeting with me one time. She said, I want you to leave the label and come work for me in-house.
Oh, wow.
So that wasn't even like a second guess, like, stay in an office or go around the world with an international superstar and learn other things. That was a no-brainer. But because of my relationships and being humble and also having faith, and asking God, like, is this the right move for me? Again, it went from there. And then I became to work in management where I was still working with the label regardless, because she was still a part of Arista Records. So again, I still had a foot inside because of the relationships I have with my ex-coworkers at Arista. And now I'm working for management for this international superstar where I can get things done even quicker and easier. Again, because of the relationships and the humility that I've always carried.
Because it didn't take but one door to open, right? It didn't take but one door. Basically. And if you know that door is open for you, Ashley, you have to take advantage of it. And you have to make the best of it. Yes. Because sometimes you have to go on faith, or sometimes you have to, because again, sometimes you may get a job where it may not pay you a lot of money, but you may get so much experience, and you never know where you may grow from that. Powerful. You may not make a lot of money, but you have experience. Love that.
Experience, and then again, if you're being nice in the relationships, that may lead you to your next gig, where it may pay you more money, or take you on adventures and just think about it, Ashley, for me, yes, I made very good money, but I also got to travel around the world several times in my life on this artist, traveling around the world with her. Now, who gets that life experience at that point when I can look back at my life and go, wow, I've been around the world 3 times? Who can ever say that a lot in their life?
Not many.
Amazing. And then in between that, Ashley, by working with her and again having relationships, meeting different people, I was able to branch off a little bit and start my own independent side firm, which was Carter Media at the time, which I started working with the independent artists that you had named, such as like Michael K. Williams and Lance Reddick from the HBO show The Wire. And working with R&B singers like the 80s singer Monifa and Shawnice Wilson and Freddie Jackson and Melissa Morgan, which were singers. So my thing was, I was already in the middle of, I know how a singer works, and I know those relationships I'm building with editors and different producers and stuff of TV shows. So I had the perfect in, and I already established who I was already in the business. Again, making my relationships work, I was able to get them on TV shows and get them in magazines for reviews and stuff like that. Building my relationships. And like one thing I've always did, Ashley, was, let's say you were my artist and you did a wonderful interview at a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
In turn, I would turn around the next day and send a big thank you note or some flowers or some cookies or whatever, thanking you for that interview from me and that artist, because that made the everlasting impression to be like, wow, you don't expect that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm building that rapport where so if I call them the next time, they go, hey, I have a new artist. Could I get them, represented on your show really quick? And it's a no-brainer. They would go, oh, of course, Ulysses, we know who you are. Of course, your artists can come on here. They're independent, they're new, and that could be the spark of something new for their career.
I hope our listeners are listening, because Ulysses is sharing some golden nuggets with us for free. That will help get us to the next level. So definitely I hope everybody's taking notes, because that simple thank you opens so many doors for your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing, Ashley, like a lot of people, because I would talk to young people too from time to time. I'd go to high schools and stuff like that and talk to young people. And they would see like the BET shows and the Grammy Award shows and stuff like that, and they're seeing the finished product. And I'm telling them it's about work. And they're like, oh, well, you have the best job. I said, well, sometimes it's fun, but it's still a lot of work, because I can't enjoy the award show because I'm working backstage. You're seeing the finished product. You don't know what it leads up to get that artist performing on stage or interviews and all the travel and all the sometimes headaches, but it pays off at the end. But it's still a lot of work. Again, putting in that work, because I feel that if one win, we all win, because there's no I in team.
Right.
And my thing is, you also have to be, and to your listeners that are listening, you also remember, if you're working with an artist and you want to do this, remember, this is their dream. You're part of the team to help everyone win. You shouldn't go in feeling that, oh, I can emulate myself after this person. Then it's not going to go nowhere, because you're paying more attention to what you want to do and not being a part of a team player.
Team player, that's so key.
Yeah, you have to go in, because everyone, I feel that everyone has a gift, Ashley, and you have to know how to utilize your gift to the best of your ability. And I felt that my gift was like being behind the scenes and being a very personable person. And I use those strengths to help me build my relationships, where I'm at now today.
Powerful. And you was able to work with the legendary executive Clive Davis, Prince, Usher. Tell us more about those experiences. I know, with Whitney, that was legendary by itself, but it worked with Prince and, Clive Davis. Those are some amazing people that everybody can't say they've worked with.
Yeah, true, because Clive Davis was our boss since he ran Arista Records. And working in the publicity department, every Thursday we would have these big luncheon meetings where we'd have to update where we're at with our clients and stuff like that, and just be able to walk in his office and talk to him, and also learn nuggets from him of how to, again, the relationships of working with press. You really have to cater to press for your artists. You have to make the press feel that they're just as important as the artists. And those are things learning from that, and then also working with those artists like Prince and Sean Combs or Diddy. But I've known him growing up, so that was a beautiful thing too. Again, a relationship. I've known him and his mom when I was growing up, because I'm from New York and he lived in Harlem also. But just working with these artists, and just establishing a trust factor with them. And because I'm looking at them as colleagues, and I'm working with you. And one thing I've always separated too, Ashley, for me is like, if you feel that you want to work, like let's say your listeners and they get a job working for a particular artist, like let's say a Cardi B or stuff like that. I want you to remember that you are working with them, you are a colleague of them, you're not their friend, because it changes the demographic of, then they're not going to listen to you, and then you're going to take it farther than you're supposed to, and it may mess you up in the long run. You have to learn how to separate business from personal. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's very important. Because there were many times I was invited to holiday dinners and stuff like that, I would just have to politely decline, because I have my immediate family. I appreciate it, but no, because I feel that once you go over that personal line, it changes the whole relationship. It really
For our listeners instead of listening, separate business from personal. That is so important.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah, because my thing is, if you're a fan of the artist, that's one thing, but you can celebrate that person's accomplishments, but don't become like carried away or a fanatic that you want to work with them for other reasons than that. You want to work together, again, as a team to accomplish the common goal of what you want to accomplish. If you want to see them winning Grammys and all this other stuff. Because, like, for years, Ashley, people didn't know that I had worked for Whitney Houston. They knew I worked for the label, and because I didn't tell people. I didn't wear it on a T-shirt. Hey, I work for Whitney Houston. And I love being behind the scenes. But then at award show, she started naming her staff. And then people were like, wait a minute, And then I was like, oh, my goodness. But again, we appreciated the acknowledgement because you look for that, And my thing was like, because we read some of the liner notes in albums and other things, like my name is there, and that's fine. I was happy with that. So when you started naming my name, I guess I felt special. But it's like, hey, that opens up another door too.
Yes.
But it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling for people to hear your name, like, millions of people like, hey, I know him. And then when you're out and about, and then you're out with the artist, and they're like, oh, you're Ulysses. I'm like, yeah, I'm him, yeah. So.
Yes. So Ulysses, what is some advice, Ulysses, you would give to listeners who are in the public relations industry? I know you just shared one nugget was, to separate personal from business. But what would you give to those PR people that are listening that they're aspiring or they want to continue to grow to get to the level that you're at?
Again, I'm going to, throw in putting in the work, going the extra mile, learning the ins and outs, and building your relationships. See, at that time when I was in it, again, I was able to have relationships with editors, directors, producers, and stuff like that. But now we're in a different social media age where we have bloggers now and websites where you have to, again, still establish relationships where you may have to send a whole bunch of emails and stuff like that. But and the biggest thing that they have to do, actually, is follow up. Follow up is so important. Here's another nugget. If you meet a person, especially like out at an event and stuff like that, and you trade information, the best thing is to follow up later on that night with that person, because everything is such a big turnaround now. So if you met me tonight, I would advise you, before you go to bed, send me a quick little email to remind me that you and I met tonight and where we met at, because then you stay fresh on my mind. And you continue that follow-up with that individual, where it's like you're building that relationship, even though you're not meeting in person, but you're building it through emails and stuff like that. And then it may turn into, well, let's have lunch and dinner to discuss more in person. And then that changes the whole narrative of, like, building the relationship even stronger. So, again, it goes back to building relationships and follow-up. Follow-up is so important. If you don't follow up, there's always somebody behind you that's going to, like, get to the next step and go over you and do better on that project, than you were supposed to.
So, see, powerful, that follow-up is so important for our listeners. And make sure you do it within that same night. Because I know you listen, like you said, you all meet a lot of people. So you're going to get, you want to stand out. Love that.
Yeah. And a lot of times, and then also, like, especially if you're at an event or you're somewhere where you meet a particular person, get the information as quickly as you can, because at that moment it's really like a fast-paced thing where you don't have time to really sit with a person for a long period of time to really talk about ideas. Mm-hmm. Get that person's information. Again, like I said, follow up, and then take it from there where you have that individual one-on-one conversation with them, either in person or via email. You know, and for people out there that are still doing the PR thing, and now in a way where if you want to work with somebody, you can now slide up in a management person's DM or an artist's DM and let them know you respect their work, you love their body of work, but I would like to work with you, and throw out some of your ideas which you may feel that may enhance their career, or where you may be able to join their team to help them grow to another level. And they may pay attention to what you're saying, and that may spark a new meeting. You have to be creative sometimes.
Powerful.
And because again, of social media, just be different, like creative. Even if you like make a little video or something on your iPhone real quick, and you just send that attachment to that artist and say, "Look what I can do," and this may help you with your team. And it may get blown away so much. Like, hey, I like what this person's doing. Let's have them on our team and work with us and do marketing and PR for us. It's that extra mile. That's like I always say when, like, if you're applying for college and somebody's going through all these applications, but if you attach your picture to that application, it's going to stand out in that whole pile of applications and go, hey, look at this person. I'm going to keep reading your dossier on you because I'm looking at a picture of you. So do something a little bit different. Do something, you know, out the box or inside the box or around the box, but just do something different. Make sure you stand out amongst the crowd.
Do something different. Bring value, right? Stand out. Utilize social media. Slide in DMs, but do it the right way. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, follow particular artists that you want to work with and stuff like that. And, you know, again, put your hand in different baskets, you know. But and another key thing, Ashley, is the P word, patience. Patience does also pay off, too. Patience and persistence.
Because I'm gonna be honest with getting, you know, with booking shows and stuff. Ulysses, I reached out to you a couple months ago, and I was very persistent, right? Introduced myself.
Yes.
Very persistent about, you know, getting you on the show, and hey, it worked. And you just have to shoot. I tell everybody, shoot your shot, right? You're either gonna say yes, you're gonna say no, but at least I did it. Because
think about it, Ashley. You didn't get a fast no. You got a slow, let's work it out maybe. And then that maybe became, let's lock in a date, you know?
Yes.
And here we are now, and I'm so happy I'm on your show. Thank you so much.
And I'm so happy to have you here to share these amazing nuggets to help our listeners, because this is stuff that, you know, people don't tell you, right? And he's sharing these $1 million nuggets to help us get to the next level. Speaking of creating your seat at the table, you've built multiple tables, Ulysses, for yourself. So I asked all of my guests this question. How did you create your seat at the table? And I know building relationships was one of them.
Building my relationships, and also staying in my lane. Staying in my lane, Ashley, where I would give. The one thing I don't, and I do this with family and friends now to this day, I don't give advice. I give encouragement. And my thing is, if you ask me for my opinion, I will give it to you, but I will be forthright with it. But I like to give encouragement where I would say, you know, does it work good for you? Or, you know, how's it going to build you up and stuff like that? Because I take the question and turn it around on the artist or the person, the individual. And I think the thing is also staying in my lane and also listening very carefully. I've learned through the years, to listen to understand instead of listening to reply so quickly. and I was able to stay and I couldn't care where I was sitting at the table, Ashley, whether I was at the end, in the middle, under the table, around the table, outside the table, it doesn't matter. But you know what? But again, being persistent, you're going to get to that table because somebody's going to sit, even if you're sitting at the kids' no pun intended with Thanksgiving coming up, you sit at the kids' table in the beginning, but eventually you're going to get to the big table.
Right.
You know, and it's about patience and persistence, you know? And I think that's where, and you get in where you fit in, and you also chime in when you feel that when it's appropriate. If there's an open space right there to say something, say it. You never know what may happen. And I also tell listeners, if you're in this industry and you're learning one particular job, don't learn just that one job. Learn all the other jobs around you. Because let's say that person is not there at work, right? You can step in. Because the one thing I always did when I had interns at Arista, and it was just my choice, I always picked the interns that were seniors in college that had like that 1 or 2 classes left compared to the juniors and the freshmen that only came once a week to the office. I got the interns that worked 3 times out of the week, where if I went to a meeting, they went with me to a meeting too. If I went to a photo shoot, they went also, because just in case I was not in the office and that particular artist called the office, they spoke to my intern and they were just as equipped as I was of knowing what to do. They took the initiative, but they always followed up with me to make sure it was the correct thing to do.
See, reaching back and pulling forward. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just made a conscious choice of those were the interns that I wanted because I wanted to make sure that I was representing my artist in the best light. I took that initiative because I remember my supervisor would say, well, why you don't want this intern particularly? I said, because I'm working with these high-powered artists, and they like continuity.
Yes.
So if they seen Ulysses, they also seen this intern with me for a while, and a lot of times those interns would get hired later on at the label because they had already learned the business. So they got a seat at the table.
Right, because they did the work. Back to what you were saying.
They did the work. They did the work, and no pun intended. They may have put a plate at that table, but the next thing they know, they would ask to sit at the table to join in. Because a lot of times at marketing meetings, what would happen, Ashley, is like we would call the interns in and ask them, because they were out in the streets, they were like street team people, and they would go to the parties and they would know what was going on. We would play 3 different tracks from an artist. And we would ask them to vote which one do you feel that you would like to hear in the club or the roller skating rink or at a party, which ones, you think would be the next hit. And a lot of times, that's when they would chime in and take advantage, and that's when they would speak up.
Right, because you had already opened the door, right, and made room for them. That's what I'm saying. It didn't take one door. It didn't take one door to open.
Yep, and that's their moment, because and then there's sometimes where you could be doing something in the office, and again take advantage of that opportunity where an intern could say, well, Ulysses, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's put the packages together this way. Like, let's put this picture on top. It may bring more attention to the PR package. So, that's a bright idea, because you're giving ideas. Bring your ideas. Don't ever feel that no question is stupid, because, again, like I said, I'm still asking questions. So take advantage of that. Do not bite your tongue, but know when to stay in your lane and know when to, speak up and when not to speak up. And again, learn to listen and understand. Yes,
know when to speak up. Stay in your lane. Always remain a student. I love that.
Yes.
And so, Ulysses, we all have a process, right? And, that's part of the journey of us getting to the next level. So what did failure teach you on your journey?
What has failure taught me?
Yes. What did it teach you on your journey? Yes.
That failure it's a lesson where I know that I need to regroup and I need to get back up and try it again because we're all going to fall down several times and get back up again. And I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to allow that to give up, because also having faith in God also helps me too. And I also learned that when you fall down, there's a lesson that's being taught to you, and you just have to also be obedient, and you have to listen to that and see what do you learn from that too.
Powerful. It's a lesson. And you're very successful. So what did success teach you on your journey?
What has success taught me? And you know what? I don't even feel that I'm successful. I just feel that I'm just a part of a team, of a wheel that just keeps moving and building. Because, like I said, if one win, we all win. I think the success to me is watching the enjoyment of continue a project that does good. Like if an artist gets a gold record or they win a Grammy and stuff like that, I think I enjoy that success because I was a part of something. That's what I love about success, that I'm a part of it, and at the end of the day, I made a mark in history just like they did too.
Helping others, right?
Helping others. Yeah, helping others. Because I felt, again, Ashley, that was my gift that I have, so I utilize that gift, that I'm better at helping. I'm such a strong giving individual across the board, personally and professionally.
And I'm so glad that you shine light there, because I think, and some people know and some people don't, we've got away from the servant leadership, and most successful people such as yourself are givers and have been servant leaders, and always have said on their journeys that, serving was part of their success. And that's so key. That's so key.
Yeah, because I still do it to this day, which is so funny. Thanksgiving's coming up, and in the mornings, I take my nephews with me and a few of their friends, and we go to soup kitchens, and we prepare, feed the homeless, and appreciate that, and then come back home and have Thanksgiving dinner with family. But I want you to understand the ideology of why I took you with me. And we're sitting at another table, but you're appreciating what you have at your table. And again, you're learning the lesson of, wow, that could be us, but it's not. But just give of yourself, because you walk away with such a fulfillment in your heart and in your spirit. That's something that will stay with you forever.
So powerful. So powerful. So Ulysses, we're in the fourth quarter, and I know you have some amazing things that you're going to finish this year out with, and I know you're going to finish it strong. So what can we expect from you the rest of 2019 that you can share with us?
Well, I think what I'm waiting for is like next week. Well, it's so funny because the Grammy nominations are going to be announced November 20th. And Grammy Awards is basically my Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl of the music industry. So I'm gearing up for that, because this is the fourth quarter, like you said, Ashley. But this is the time where we begin to downgrade ourselves, and this is where we recharge after what we've done for the last several months of working and being on the road. And this is where we need to regroup and, like I said, recharge our bodies, recharge our minds, and get ready for 2020 to go, okay, what do we got planned? What do we got to do? And that also gives me a chance to just, sit quietly and come up with brighter, new ideas and stuff like that for what's going to happen. So I'm just really sitting back waiting, basically, for my time off. I've done so much. That's why you couldn't get me earlier, Ashley, because I was traveling between London and L.A. and Atlanta. It had been crazy. Within the last week and a half, I've been on so many flights. I was coming and going.
Yes. So I know you're excited, even though you're ready to breathe a little bit, but I know you're excited about the Grammy nominations, right?
Yes, I'm excited about those because the Grammys are coming out, and the Grammy Awards in January, so I know right after the holiday, I got to kick back in the gear because once well, here's the thing, actually, once we know what the nominations are and who's nominated, then becomes the marketing and the PR thing to get people to go vote and buy their music and get them out there and who's going to perform on the Grammys and stuff like that. So, we got to just gear ourselves up for that for a couple of weeks after the nominations come out before we die down for the holiday and pick it right back up so they can win awards.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see all of this come to fruition. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're going to have most of your artists who's probably going to be nominated. So I know that's something
I hope so, but then and I hope so. And for me, because I'm in house with the estate of Whitney Houston, we also have a hologram because I'll be gone in 2020. I'll be in Europe for a couple of months with this hologram tour, so I'll be on the road for that in between doing other stuff. But I'll be out of the country, dealing with stuff.
Amazing. So how can our listeners continue to follow you, support you, and connect with you on social media platforms?
Well, they can follow me on Facebook, which you'll probably put my handles up or on your page, but they can follow me on Ulysses Carter on Facebook, on Twitter. Ulysses Carter on Twitter, but my Instagram is always my fun one, Ashley, because that's the one I have fun with, and that's a little bit different. It's Carter, CARTERU 0809, which is my birth date, August 9th. Uh-huh. So I did a spin on it because I couldn't get Ulysses Carter because I think it was already used already. So I was like, okay, well, I couldn't get that one. But they can follow me on Facebook. I think I have a couple of more spaces left because I'm almost up to my 5,000 limit, and I think on the holiday I'll start, starting to unfollow certain people because there's too many people. Meeting so many people in the industry, you can't help but for them to follow you. Yeah, but They can definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And if they have questions, please slide up in my DM and talk to me. I'll talk to you. I'm very, reachable.
Yes. Yes, he is. And just be consistent and persistent, okay?
Yes, be patient because here's the thing, Ashley. I will eventually answer you. It may not be the same day sometimes, but I will get back to you when I have a moment. Because a lot of times when I'm traveling and I take a breather moment, that's when I start trying to answer as many emails and DMs as possible to follow back up.
Yes,
I can't see that word follow up. I do follow back up with you.
Yes, he does.
And if I don't follow back up with you, be persistent and beat me down. Wave some hands or something like, hey, I'm still trying to get you. That's fine.
Yes. Yes, and that he is so true. And Ulysses, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table. This has been a powerful interview. Thank you for sharing your nuggets and helping us all continue to be great. And I can't wait to invite you back to the table.
Yeah, and Ashley, anytime you want me to come back to the table, please invite me back. I would love to come back to your table anytime you need me. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, and I'm humbled. I'm just going to say this has been a very humbling interview, and just thank you again.
You are so welcome. And have a great and wonderful upcoming holiday, too, Ashley.
You too. Thank you. So
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McLemore and my intern, Sarah, from Tennessee State University, and my intern, Vontaria, from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.